Hey, what's going on, guys? I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins, and welcome to the Black Financial Channel. I hope you guys will subscribe when you come through. I wanted to let you guys know what I'm up to. I'm actually in Ghana. I'm in Accra. Accra is the largest city in Ghana, from what I have researched, and I'm here for the year of the return. This is 400 years since they took us away on boats against our will and enslaved us for a very long time in a country that where we didn't know anybody, didn't have any family, stripped us of our name, of our culture, of our heritage, and the 30,000 years of history that we had before we actually got here. And so I came to Ghana. I agreed to come to Ghana on the request of Michael Roberts. Michael Roberts is a great guy. He happens to be a billionaire. He's very, I think he does well financially, but he's also a good person from what I've seen. I've known him about less than a year, and so I came here because I wanted to reconnect. I wanted to reconnect to what I consider to be my roots. I wanted to reconnect to opportunities. I wanted to connect to the diaspora because, as you guys know, I talk about economic strategy for the Black community. One thing I always mention to you guys all the time is the importance of us really thinking strategically about long-term plans, like long-term processes that are going to help us to succeed. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button if you haven't done it yet. What's up on Instagram at The Real Boyce Watkins? That's my Instagram, The Real Boyce Watkins. I'll post a lot of images up there of the trip to Ghana, a lot of video. You can actually follow, I'm going to create a hashtag, Dr. Boyce Ghana, which actually I've had Dr. Boyce London, Dr. Boyce Chicago, Dr. Boyce China. So that stuff is still out there on the internet. If you ever want to see any of the other exploratory missions I've taken, I've gone all around the world studying economic systems so that we as Black people can learn how we can move into the 21st and 22nd centuries in a way that is going to make us powerful and strong. And so that's why I like to go and see how business is being done around the world and see where the opportunities are. The reason I want to be connected to Africa isn't just a spiritual one or a psychological one. Sure, I want to be more than an African American. I don't want to just be an American. I feel like I'm more than just an American. My life does not start and end with, white people, apple pie, and Donald Trump, or white history in blackface, which is pretty much what your Black history is in public schools. It's not very good. I felt, I said, I want to kind of know what it's like to have the richness that my Chinese friends might have. Richness meaning that you can talk about things that happened 5,000 years ago and how they affect you now. Right? We can go back to slavery. Most of us can, but can you go back before slavery? A lot of us can't. And so, so I wanted to reconnect to that. And also, the thing about Africa is that, a lot of us don't understand, even though we are connected, we have full rights to resources in America. A lot of this conversation has occurred during the reparations debate when you have the different movements, ADOS and DOAS and FBA, and a lot of it, having a very nationalist element to it, which I can respect for sure, that descendants of slaves have a unique experience, which qualifies us for unique rights and privileges as it pertains to reparations, and I agree with that 100%. But I also think that you've got allies all around the globe that you may not know about as well. I also think that you should aim for a both and approach as opposed to either or when it comes to your connection to the diaspora. I also think that while you certainly have rights to resources in the United States, you also have a direct claim on the wealthiest continent on the planet. Did y'all know? Give me a yes or no if you are aware that Africa is the wealthiest continent on the planet. How many of you know this? How many of you know that in terms of resources, Africa is the wealthiest continent on the earth in terms of what is in this country? There's a reason why the Chinese set up shop. And they posted up in this mug. They are posted up like, we want everything over here. We want Africa more than we want China. The Germans are like, we want Africa more than we want Germany. Y'all can have Germany. We'll trade Germany for Africa. We'll trade 3 Germanys for one third of Africa if that's available, right? The British said, England is this little nasty, little crappy little island that nobody wants to be on. We want to go where the resources are, where the wealth is, right? So, one of the things I think Black people have to kind of make sure that we understand and remember is that you have a natural, God-given right to the most abundant resources on the planet. You have a right to that, and we're being invited to participate in that. What I've gathered in terms of my conversations with people, and I'm still going to have more conversations while I'm here, is that there are many people in Ghana who want you to come back. They want you to be connected. I think that here's the thing, right? If you're doing any sort of economic transactional connection in Africa, you got to go beyond just thinking about Africa as a big charity case. Just doing charity here, like, oh, I'm going to go and send money to, for people who are starving. That's important, but that shouldn't be it. Or I want to go there and build a school in Africa. Yeah, that's important, but that shouldn't be it. What you really want to do is think of Africa not just as a place where you can do charity. Think of it as a place where you can do investment, right? And so I would almost argue with you guys to say that first of all, investing goes a lot further than charity. When you do charity for somebody, you just give them a few extra crumbs. When you invest with them, you're really going in ankle deep or knee deep into an economic relationship that is built on reciprocity, quid pro quo, where everybody wins. Doing business with somebody is like sleeping with them. Nobody will sleep with you or have sex with you or date you if you're not both getting something out of the deal, right? If you sleep with somebody and they're the only one who benefits and you get nothing, then you're not going to keep wanting to sleep with that person. But if they have a great experience and you have a great experience, then you've got a beautiful thing. You've created a beautiful relationship from which other things will spur from that. That's why the foundation of life, we talk about sex, we think it's a dirty thing, but actually sex and love is the foundation of the existence of all human life. When people come together and they like each other and they're attracted to each other, that's how human beings are created. That's how you create other things out of that initial energy, that initial spark, that original Big Bang called love that drives all these other things, entire generations of human beings. So the same thing happens when you talk about creating economic life. When you start with love, you start with the goal of there being mutual benefit. You start with this initial attraction. I'm attracted to Africa. I love Africa. I want to go make economic love to Africa. I want Africa to love me back. Then what happens is that from that initial Big Bang, that initial spark, many, many things come out of that. Lots of economic life comes out of that. Lots more connections come from that. More investment spurs from that. Just the fact that I'm here and I feel loved and I feel connected to what's happening and I'm talking to you guys about it. Give me a yes or no if this isn't at least making you think about doing business in Africa. Yes or no? Is this at least making you say, maybe I should take a trip or maybe I should get over there too, right? And so that's an example of what I'm talking about. That initial love that we're having with each other, it's spurring other relationships and possibilities because I'm talking about it. And now you guys may come and make a trip here, or you guys may come and buy some land, or you guys may come over here and form a business partnership, right? So ultimately, that's what I think you want. I think that for Black people, our biggest challenge is not just something like reparations. I think reparations is very important, but more important than reparations is I've actually been talking about preparations. Reparations matters, but preparations matters more. Reparations will get you a couple of dollars. Preparations will make you rich. Reparations will help you feel a little bit better. Preparations will secure you for the next 400 years, right? And so what I want you to do is I want you to just think about preparations, preparing your family, future generations to be open to where the opportunities exist, preparing your children to understand the pillars of wealth and where wealth comes from, preparing your family to kind of just know how to move around, how to move globally. So you're not just, because think about this, you got different levels of thinking, right? You got people that move globally and can do business in different parts of the world. You got other people at another level who can do different business in different parts of the United States. Then you got people who can't even leave their city, and then because they don't think there's anything outside of their city. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And then you got some people who don't even leave their block. Right? So there's different levels of thinking, and what you got to do is also understand one important rule of business is that it is just as important to think big as it is to be smart. I can tell you, thinking big is as important as being smart. Right? I know a lot of smart people who think small. They can't see past their block. They're brilliant, but they can't see past their city. They think there's nothing outside the borders of Detroit. Right? I know people who are smart, but they can't think outside the United States. They think the whole world starts and ends with Donald Trump and the federal government. No. There's a whole globe out here of people that you can engage with, situations you can be involved with, opportunities that you can utilize for your advantage and the advantage of others. And that's what I'm trying to do. So what you're watching me do is in real time, I'm expanding my boundaries because I too was raised in an environment where I thought that Louisville, Kentucky was all that there was. And then I thought that the United States was all that there was. And now I've traveled around the world, I've been to a lot of different countries. I've been to 2 or 3 African countries before this one, but I'm still growing out of the limitations that were given to me from a clearly defunct, dysfunctional educational system that wants African Americans to not feel any connection to Africa. I'm sorry, no disrespect to any of my friends who disagree. I understand that we have a unique position as descendants of slaves, but you're not going to take 30,000 years of legacy from me. You're not going to take 30,000 years of African history from me and tell me that all I am is a former slave. You're not going to tell me that all I've done in my in all these generations is come up from slavery, because I believe that I was originally a king. I believe I was originally a boss. I believe I was originally an owner. I believe I was originally empowered. And what I'm doing is I'm not just trying to do a come up. I'm actually just returning to what I used to be. So Donald Trump always talks about making America great again. Well, I'm trying to make black people great again. I want to make Boyce Watkins great again. And I'm going to tell you the same thing is true for you. I want you to make yourself great again, whatever that means to you. And so that's why I'm in Africa. That's why I'm here. I'm going to report everything to you guys and tell you guys all about it. So I'm about to go. We're about to go eat dinner. I'll tell you, I'll tune in, every day or so. The hashtag I'm going to use is Dr. Boyce Ghana. So if you want to use Dr. Boyce Ghana, you can check out stuff on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, stuff like that. I use social media a lot. I want to say also thank you, Rita, for your donation. That was very generous of you, and I appreciate you very much, sister. Thank you. Anybody else who wants to support our growing black media, we'd love to have you as a patron, and we'll give you lots of free stuff in exchange. Go to intelligentblackpeople.com. That's intelligentblackpeople.com. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I'm late. They're waiting for me downstairs. I'll see you soon. Take care. Peace.